Hey, this is PoeticWhiz. I'm going to talk about the iPhone 17 regular. Should you buy it? Is the phone right for you? I would be going a bit deep on the iPhone 17 from hardware, software, and the tiny details I have noticed using the iPhone 17 regular. And if you should get one for yourself or no, or should you buy the previous iPhone model, regardless of your budget, your color option, storage, and more importantly, if iPhone 17 regular is the one you should get over the 17 Pro model or the Air for that matters. Yes, before I start off with my review of the iPhone 17 regular, I would like to let you know I'm still shooting this video on the iPhone 6s. The reason why I'm saying this is because I could probably shoot with any phone for that matter, but I still prefer iPhone 6s. I know the camera quality is not great, but neithertheless, I just felt like letting you know that I don't know why randomly. So yeah, talking about iPhone 17 regular, Apple has this time around the iPhone 17 regular feels wholesome in many ways to me personally. As someone who has been using iPhone 6s and using the iPhone 7 now, as for the hardware, nothing much has changed from the 16. Almost everything is the same. But yes, there's one thing I would say the minor. There's one thing that I love the iPhone 17 hardware is the screen size. I cannot tell you how much I'm in love with the screen size more than the 120 Hz personally. I feel the screen size of 6.3 inch is nice. I feel for someone like me who has always been used smaller iPhone or smaller Android phones or even a bigger Android phone like almost 6.7 inch phone, the iPhone 6 and 7, the iPhone 17 feels just right at home. I mean, large enough, but yet not too. It does not feel like the 16 Plus or the Pro Max for that matters. It just feels right around the corner. It almost feels like you're using the iPhone 11, but at a much better body size. And when I say body size, it means if you look at the one thing I hated about the iPhone 11 is how wider it feels, the screen size. But here with the iPhone 17, I don't feel that. I can distinguish between an iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 11, and the regular iPhone what we had over the years. But with iPhone 17, it just feels like home. It almost feels the screen size is worth like paying for, if I have to put it that way. If you're someone who has been using regular iPhone sizes or any Android phone for that matter, you'll come to appreciate this new screen size from Apple for the iPhone 17. And that's something I personally love. If you have so far enjoyed this video of the iPhone 17 regular, do hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Well, I'm really trying to hit that 500 subscriber mark, 1000 subscriber mark, and 4000 watch time. I would really appreciate if you support the small channel that really wants to grow. I know I've been making a lot of Apple content, Samsung content, and other content, but my main purpose with making all these videos is to inform you about the things that I personally have noticed and something I wish you all to know actually. So I would really appreciate if you could subscribe that button and really comment, like, or share it with your loved one. So yeah, please do subscribe and thank you. Talking about Face ID, I'm not sure if there's something I actually need to get used to it because half the time when I try to unlock my iPhone with Face ID, it responds to it sometimes it does not. Maybe I'm doing the gestures wrong or right, I'm not too sure. But as for Face ID working, I feel there's somewhat stutter or lag I feel with Touch ID because I did try to use this in a couple of scenarios, but the only time when I did not feel like Touch ID was not working was when I was trying to make any payment, online payments or anything that such. It was quick. It was like I could notice how the app would open or how my general usage has been over a month, a period of time with iPhone using the iPhone 17 regular. Um, See here, I've always, or I say as unison, we would say that the camera button on the iPhone 16 and the 17 for that matter does not make any sense. But here's one thing I want to address with the camera button. More so not about me hating on the camera, means I still hate on the camera button. But there is something not everyone has uh, yet told about openly. This first I heard it from a stranger regarding the iPhone 11 camera button. He feels like how he feel about the camera button on a day-to-day usage. When, as I know someone who has been using the 16, I think the regular it was. I'm not too sure, or the plus. I'm not too sure. I did ask him like how you feel about the camera button to the concerned person. He was like there was no hindrance in using day to day, and I thought he was joking. At least that's what I thought. But now when I come to use the iPhone 17, the camera button, I could say the same for myself. I mean, maybe the reason why I'm not like accidentally touching the camera button or clicking the camera button is maybe because of the screen size. I mean, that's one benefit I feel over this large screen. At least that's what I'm. But my friend Sharon had to say that no, by default it is like the touch sensitivity or whatever is like blocked or being closed in the under the setting, meaning there's no accidental touches happening, and that's the reason why I'm not feeling the same. Could be, but so far, not even once since the time I've been using iPhone 7, not even once I've actually touched the camera button or I felt its presence there. I mean, we all had argued that the camera placement on the iPhone 17 and the 16 was not great, but to my surprise, I did not feel any what do you say? I felt annoyance or I felt this was not even now I wish it should have not been there in the first place. But what I'm really trying to say here is that the thought or the outlook is here. We all believe in whatever everyone has to say, but no one tells the actual truth. And what I'm trying to counterpart here is that maybe due to the size increase, I'm feeling this way. But if I had to use the regular iPhone or like 16 or 15 for that matter with the camera button, maybe that's where I would notice this camera button on. Why I'm saying this is because you might be a first time iPhone buyer or someone who's using the camera button for the first time. You might feel that the camera button would annoy you on a day to day usage, but no, even me doom scrolling to social media, like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube for that matter. Not even once I felt like I'm accidentally touching the camera button or I'm feeling its presence there. The only time, I just tell you briefly, only time when I felt like I felt the action was a hindrance or it is just me. I feel while playing games. I feel the same goes for the notch incident. The reason why I'm saying while playing games is because one, the notch interferes the gameplay. Second of all, I'm not seeing that camera button. What do you say? Annoyance while playing game, but I still feel that the way I see, I for comparison's sake, let me take the iPhone 13 that had a notch was a dynamic island. The notch when I play games, I would not feel significantly annoyed or I feel like I'm losing the game experience. But with the dynamic island, I feel the same way. I feel that annoyance that I cannot touch my finger to the screen or whatever. And as for video watching, I still feel see, I'm not someone who watches video on iPhone much, but I feel I could easily ignore the dynamic island just the way I could ignore the notch. But only in gameplay I feel this way. Apart from that, the dynamic island has been great for me overall. I feel the point of dynamic island feels great, especially for someone like me who listens to Spotify music or listen to music a lot via Spotify and this Ubers and all the like the tiny things which necessarily you don't want the app to be open but run in the background. And I feel Dynamic Island for that purpose is great. I feel I personally not use Dynamic Island or the what is the action button yet so far. But if there's anything I have tried to come to understand with iOS 26 and with Dynamic Island is Apple taking the little details and trying to emphasize it or give it like an infographic experience. Like essentially, you would not need it, but Apple like will give it to you. Like for instance, I can give you like when the Wi-Fi is not working, mobile data not notification pops like a pop saying that okay, you can use mobile data or something like that. Like the Bluetooth is off. Something. I mean, the micro information which necessarily you don't need, Apple trying to tell you, let you know. And yes, this is one more thing. Like whenever you are deleting a photo or message or anything, like Apple is trying to tell you here, if you delete, this is what's going to happen. And I feel the small detail starting, you may feel a bit annoyed. I still personally do. I feel somewhat annoyed, but I feel overall for someone who is not upgrading iPhone yearly or someone who's moving from Android to iPhone, these minor details are like great. I feel it might be a bit annoying, but not as much as I'm yapping. But whatever. So yeah, my experience with iOS 26 has been great. There's one thing with iOS 26 I really want to tell you is that the what is that liquid glass. See, at first when I saw use the liquid glass, I felt nope, this is not the one for me. The readability is not there. The overall iOS experience is not something I would personally see myself using or getting used to it. More importantly, on that note, like how we have jumped from iOS 6 to iOS 7, then iOS 15, and now iOS 26. I've seen this jump personally myself, especially for iOS 6 to iOS 7, and so forth now with iOS 26. I can tell to get used to the liquid glass would take some time, some muscle memory, I would say personally. My thing with here, I hardly read my notification, I just glance at it. And even though liquid glass is not perfect for that, for me it's uh, not a big hassle, I feel. The only time the liquid glass makes me a bit annoyed is like when I'm using the control center. I don't know why, but that's something I feel. Okay, there's something I might probably nitpick, but I think somewhere anyone who has used the liquid glass or anyone who has used the iPhone for that matters would really know what I'm trying to tell you. We had uh, landscape mode or landscape mode basically on the iPhone before, like I think it was iOS 7, 10, I'm not exactly sure, but we had. And coming to that point, what I'm trying to really say is the control center. When you portray in the landscape mode, it sort of feel out of place. I feel at least that's my design perspective or my way of seeing certain things. But says haywire. The only thing I'm taking as this as a nitpick is because now we can customize the control center whichever way we like. And personally, I have what do you say, changed my control center a bit, but not extreme level like most of people might have done. But yes, but I somewhere feel when I go through the control center options, they are very limited. I feel not something everything I would personally be using, but I feel there's something I feel missing with the control center. I personally feel I'm not sure just me feeling that way or it's just me. But either way, that's something I wanted to mention about the control center. And overall user experience is great. Overall user experience is great. Yes, there's something I would like to let you all know. As you all be knowing, I personally love dark mode. But somewhere I did not like come to appreciate, I would say, or come to what like make the icons of the dark mode. I felt I've left the icon part dark, like the default color option, the colorful option, then making that also dark mode. I feel the dark mode did not resonate with me much, but I've kept default everything dark mode except that part of the iOS 26. Sorry, iOS 28. feature set. What I'm really trying to tell you. iOS 26 has been great, and there's one thing I have come to really appreciate. I might say, at first I did not realize it was way more convenient, way more efficient, or way more reliable. I would say that is having the search bar at the bottom. Previously, we all have been having search bar on the top, but having search bar on the bottom has been a game changer. I feel for me personally. I cannot tell you how countless time I felt like having the search bar at the bottom makes much way more sense, regardless of if you're using a bigger iPhone screen size or any smartphone for that matter. Having the search bar on the bottom makes much more sense. I feel. And one more thing I've really not come to appreciate. Maybe that's just me because the way Apple has making the settings overall does not feel great. I would say, yeah, there is that infographic, but I mean the information of a certain thing like what does the Wi-Fi do or what the whole hotspot does. There are those information, but what I'm really trying to emphasize here is that the way Apple has done the setting overall, personally for me, it feels a bit haywire, a bit complicated. I would say. I guess that's my feeling initially because my muscle memory still stick to the older iOS setting where I basically know where everything is. I don't need to search like go to the search bar and search or like try to nitpick anything basically is what I'm trying to tell. I know that's a minor like thing I'm nitpicking, but that's something I thought to let you all know. Personally, not use the iPhone 17 camera much. I hardly take pictures. I know the camera feature I have not used much on the iPhone 17. Because that's the upselling point I would say of the iPhone 17 in many ways. But then one thing I really appreciate is the storage. 256 GB still a bit overkill for my own needs, but it's a sweet, nice spot I would say. 256 GB. Then one more thing I thought might be a bit annoying for me, or something I personally would not appreciate it. But do let me know if it's just me that feeling this way, or is it just to do with iOS in general, or each iPhone for that matter. Not not the older iPhone, but the model from iPhone 13 to the current iPhone model, whatever we have. Do let me know if you feel the same way, or just me having this notion. I feel what I'm really trying to tell you is while taking screenshot, I've noticed that uh, the dynamic island also happens to appear in the notification. Sorry, happened to appear. The dynamic island also happened to appear in the screenshot. But for some reason, when I try to take a screenshot on the iPhone 17, I really don't happen to see the dynamic island at all. I mean, in the screenshot, is what I'm really trying to tell. I can give you a reference image of what I'm really trying to tell you, and I feel it's great. Or I just know there's some setting or something Apple has done or something. I don't know, but do let me know if there is something I'm just noticing, or it's something that it depends on whichever device you're owning. I don't know. There's something I agree with you all, or I have to measure with majority is the iOS 26 keyboard. I mean, the keyboard is fine, but the way it's designed on the iPhone, the way it's designed on the iOS 28 feels a bit underwhelming, or I feel a bit haywire. And then like so much space is left and so much of things could be done. What I'm really trying to say is I have been using Samsung keyboard, Samsung phone, and there the keyboard like Samsung always have big smartphones or big screen size, but the utilization of the keyboard has been phenomenal. I mean, there is no extra what do you say emptiness in the keyboard or anything. Just feel right at home. But with iOS 28 keyboard, I feel that is missing. I feel I don't feel that uh, that way of what do you say. I'm really feeling that vibe of. I'm not saying vibe. I'm just putting it that way. That and I feel like I'm missing out something with the iOS 26 keyboard when I'm seeing it very where the bottom thing is very like what do you say, empty. There's one thing I don't know why anyone is not talking about this one iOS feature which currently is only available on the iPad, but I really wish it had on the iPhone. I cannot tell you why, but this one feature I request Apple to bring on the iPhone as well is the ability to copy and paste. What I really mean is that we can cut, copy, paste, but not the way iPad does it. When I something cut on the iPad, like a paragraph or a note or something or a photo or anything, just with a click of a single button I can paste it. I don't need to uh, have what the pointer or whatever the text pointer appear and say okay paste it or anything like that. I'll tell you what I'm really trying to. I'll grab a screenshot and let you know what I'm really trying to. What button I'm talking about. What I'm really trying to express myself here. But there's a one thing I really think iPhone should have and should have had from the inception. Then the more classic way of doing things, or we have been doing things over a period of time, almost for a decade, I feel. But having on the iPad, on the iPhone would be a game changer. Just the way I feel having on the iPad OS feels. I know why. I don't know why anyone is not talking about this particular feature, and they're talking everything else that important. But I feel this is far more important. I feel, and that not just for me, but for anyone I feel would agree with what I have to say here. Using the iPhone 17 for a brief period of time, there's something I have noticed is I do doom scroll a lot from Twitter, Instagram, and other social media platform. Like I jump from one app to another app, like say for 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever, for a longer period of stretch. But here, what I'm really trying to say is that I have never felt like how to tell you, like if you have used the iPhone 13 Pro or the 16 Plus, you use the phone for a longer period of time, you feel worn out, your hand like, okay, keep that phone aside and do something else. But with iPhone 17, even though it has a bigger screen size, I did not feel that pain or that hand feel pain or whatever. That just feel the phone feel bulky or the phone feel like too big for my need. Just felt right at home. I feel the screen side. That's something I really appreciate. There's one more thing I have noticed while using the iPhone 17 is that it's just me. I don't know if anyone hates it or love it or someone feels annoyed. This primarily I have noticed on Instagram a lot more than on YouTube, Twitter, or anything else. Is that especially this is more. I could notice this thing more on the while watching videos. Is that one video seems brighter, the other seems dim. Same goes with the volume. I mean, when I try to scroll between two different videos from two different people, or let's say the same person, the brightness level changes automatically, and so does the volume. See, the audio I can understand, but the video thing is really like annoys me even now. Maybe that's because I personally use Instagram at night and not during the day. In the day, I don't know if I would still feel annoyed. I did talk to Saran, a fellow creator you must definitely check out. He's more Apple geek than me, I would personally say. But yes, I did talk to him about it, and he has to say. Actually, I also thought this has to do with something called HDR Plus or Dolby Vision, whatever. I asked him if this is something to do with the same thing. Like, is this the change between the videos going one video being brighter than the other or dim? He said could be one of the reasons, and for me using initially felt a bit more hassle, a bit more inconvenient. I was not feeling that great about it. Like constantly the brightness changing automatically by itself. Hardly me doing anything. One thing I really appreciate of the iPhone 17 is speaker quality and the sound. Oh my god, it's great. I mean, It's loud enough that I could really see the difference between my iPhone 6s speakers. I mean, the sound output coming versus my iPhone 17 uh, speakers coming out. I mean, the sound quality feels much more louder, crispier, and much more. I mean, I could feel everything I'm saying basically. As for the color options on the iPhone 17 are great. Personally, I always prefer black, and as I told you, purple is my favorite color. So if I had to buy one more extra iPhone 17, purple would be the probably the color I would personally buy. Because I love purple. But yes, colors, and yes, there's one more thing. At first, I did not notice with the iPhone 17 black that it's sort of a grayish tone. It almost feels like the iPhone 6s gray, but somewhere between the iPhone 15 black and 6s black, somewhere in the between that iPhone 17 color is, especially the black one. This actually I did not notice it immediately until someone pointed out to me that there's subtle hint of gray to it. It's not bad in any ways. And there's one more thing if you all could do for me is like if you're someone who's been rocking the iPhone 17 regular, do please suggest me any good iPhone 17 cases that have a firm grip and everything feels rock solid. Do let me know because I really want to check out if there are any iPhone 17 cases that I personally would rock myself apart from the Apple ones. But yeah, do let me know in the comment section below. Battery life on the iPhone 17 regular has been great. And as for it, I want to address the charging port. I don't see literally any difference between me charging my iPhone 6s and the iPhone 17. Literally, I mean, I hardly see any difference. I know it might be strange coming from someone who has hardly upgraded iPhone over the years, but literally have not a single complaint on the charging speed, or even the usage, the battery usage. In fact, I have able to use the iPhone 17 regular for one full day and then the next half a day. And I feel the battery life has been great for me. And that's something I personally enjoy it about it. See, if I was kind of a heavy user, like someone who's constantly on mobile data or constantly using the iPhone for other purposes, like more camera purposes or mobile data sort of heavy usage or running between back and forth between multiple apps, then yes, easily the phone would not last me longer. I would need to charge end of the day. But personally, my usage has been very mild, very I not that I don't overuse it. I do use it, but I enjoy the battery life with iPhone 17. But till now, and I still do appreciate the screen side. I feel somewhere deep down, I feel apart from 256 GB or 120 Hz refresh rate, I feel the screen side has made me give much more joy, a pleasant feel of using this phone on a day-to-day basis, and that's something I really appreciate enough. I somewhere thought me using the iPhone 17 regular, I would make a few tweaks here and there, but to my surprise, I've not done really any changes to the my iPhone except me changing the wallpapers and lock screen and customizing my way. I literally did not made anything apart from having it in dark mode. I thought I would use the action button way more frequently, but no, I have not. But there's one more thing I really want to talk between the action button and the camera button more specifically. Here's something I really want to talk about the camera button and the action button more specifically, like how my perspective has been with these two buttons and how is there anything better, and this is mostly this point of view or this perspective what I'm going to put out now for these two buttons on the iPhone. This is for those people who are using especially the iPhone 15 and those who are using the older iPhone models, and for those who have hardly used an iPhone in their life or wish to move to an iPhone. This particular segment or this particular part of the video is for you people out there that I feel not many people are talking about it much, but I felt like addressing it. If you're buying the iPhone 17 series, whichever size you're going for, I feel the camera button would not be a hindrance for you. But if you're buying the previous model, the iPhone 16 regular or the 13 regular or the 15 regular, I know I'm mentioning 15 here, but I'll come to that point later. You might accidentally have the camera button issues, but with the any 17 series, you would not have that personally. Maybe the only time you would have the camera button accidentally you touching the camera but only when you don't have a right case for it. But apart from that, on a day-to-day usage, you would hardly feel it's there. Its presence would be there. Action button, it really comes down how you will use it. But personally, for me, having the action button there or no has never changed my mind much. The reason why I'm saying that if you're someone who's still rocking the iPhone 15 regular, I feel upgrading to the 17 might be great, but not as much as like you're missing out on anything or you might feel FOMO. But what I'm really trying to say here is that people say that you're missing out on these features, like you're missing out on Apple Intelligence, you're missing out action button, camera button. I feel you having the 15 regular makes much more sense than buying the 17 person if you ask me. I'm not saying this out of what do you say, like go buy the latest gadgets or anything. I'm saying from a user's perspective, like someone who need to take a thing on the minute things, small details, then the bigger picture. Always look at smaller details first, then to the bigger picture. If you look at the basics first, then you will understand why the bigger picture does not make matters anymore. So these minor improvements are much more better than the bigger improvements, if you ask me. See, that's somewhere I feel the iPhone regular has to offer. And yes, there's something I have almost forgot to mention with the iPhone 17 regular is that the body, I feel it's glass, but anyway, what I'm really trying to do, the material used and the hardware material used on the iPhone 17 regular are great, better than the iPhone Pro. And I'll tell you why exactly is that. Why I'm saying that is because when the person has moved from iPhone 13 to 15, the body, the components used, the materials used, aluminum, titanium, or stainless steel, you can notice the difference. Where with the iPhone 13 Pro, you could feel that weight. With 15, you did not feel that weight. It almost felt like using the Apple Watch Ultra. I know I've been making that reference even now with the iPhone 15 Pro, but that is just me giving a better understanding what I'm really trying to tell you. Feel the Apple Watch Ultra reference with the iPhone 15 makes much more sense than with the 13 body. But if I go to say the same for the 17 Pro body build, it's worse. Apple really needs to next year fix the body first, the components and how it's structured. They need to go back to the drawing board and see what mistakes they have done. With the iPhone 17 Pro, and make it much more durable and much more stronger and much more convenient. Your tech is not just about using a product daily, but also trying to make good durable enough is what I'm trying to tell you. There's one more thing I really want to talk about. I personally have not noticed this on the iPhone 17, maybe because I've yet to experience it, but many people are feeling that the anti-reflecting coating or the usage of the iPhone 17 regular or the Pro for that matters, outdoor visibility is much better than before. I really don't know if that is true, but if everyone are saying so, it must be good enough. But personally for me, this is one thing I've not really noticed it for myself. Maybe because I put a screen protector or something like that could be the reason. As for the price of the iPhone 17 regular, there are two things I really want to emphasize a lot and really like to tell you if this is the wise buy for you or no in the long term. If you are buying the iPhone 17 in India for 82,900, and if you are someone who has not upgraded the iPhone on a longer period of time, like moving from the iPhone 13 to the 17 regular, then it makes sense. If you are getting the iPhone 17 regular under 80K, I would feel that's a much more better deal compared to paying 82,900. And as for the US pricing makes much more sense. But for me, the Indian pricing feels way more expensive. I personally tell you, maybe because if the iPhone 17 was priced somewhere around 70 or 60K, not on 60K, at least 65K also would make sense. But 82,900 feels more expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I missed anything out on the iPhone 17 regular. If there any, yeah, I have not talked about its pros and cons much. Maybe I have not talked about the cons much, but either way, I feel the reason I made this iPhone 17 video is to educate you people on the changes I have noticed than what many people have not talked about it. And that's why I really wanted to make this video on the whole iPhone 17 regular video. There's one thing I really want to tell you all is I don't know why people say that we have accessories for iPhone made a lot, but me personally, I've not even seen iPhone accessories that drastically have improved. What I'm really trying to say, the accessories of the iPhones have like, I mean, it does not really feel like you're owning the iPhone accessory. Like every other company you go to, let it be Autobox, Vegan, Apple, or ESR, or any other brand for that matter, they almost everything, all the phone cases look the same to me. This might be different, but I really don't feel the only thing that makes the iPhone accessory different. Maybe one has a silicone case and one has a hard shell case. And there's one more thing, if you can let me know if you're someone who's using a silicone case or a hard shell case for your iPhone for that matters. Yeah, I'm really debating whether I should move to a silicone case or stick to the hard shell case. Currently, what I want. Yeah, I think so. I've said a lot about the iPhone 17 regular, and do let me know how your experience been using the iPhone 17 regular on a day-to-day basis. Do you like it? And yeah, till then, this is your Poetic Whiz. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Till then, live your dream.